Thank y'all for joining.
Oh,
Thank you for
thank you.
having us.
Yeah.
I watched your movie. It's creepy.
Thank you so much.
So, tell me, how did the idea for the story come to be?
Yeah, I think we first and foremost just really wanted to find something where we could get audiences where they felt the most vulnerable and like they're most comfortable and safe. So we thought, like why not try to tear apart that notion of just like going to bed, you're with your loved one, and like you feel super safe there. But we were like, how do we basically kind of mess with you in that way? Similar to how kind of Jaws changed the way you went into water and Psycho changed the way you took showers. We really wanted to come up with an idea that made people change the way they went to bed at night. So we kind of started from there and then just started pulling at that thread until we came up with Dream Eater.
Great, great. As someone who has sleptwalked since they were 6 years old, it definitely got under my skin.
That's amazing.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that you're sleepwalking.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. I do rearrange rooms. I even ate half a pound of sour cream one night.
Oh,
Whoa.
so
You
so
say a sour cream? Is that what you said?
Yes, sour cream.
Oh, wow.
Whoa.
so it's so crazy because when we
Yeah.
were doing our research on parasomnia, a lot of the times they're saying, people often harm themselves because they're ingesting things they shouldn't be.
Yeah.
They're going out and like exposing themselves without being like clothed properly. So we took all of those instances and put them into the movie. So it's so crazy that you're saying how you
Yeah.
like ingested like half a pound of sour cream. That's
Well,
wild.
because to Mallory's point, like when we really started getting into the nitty-gritty of the sleep science and the science behind parasomnia, we were like, this is a terrifying affliction for people that really does have some serious risk factors to it. So it was something that we were very kind of seamlessly able to weave into the horror of the film. Just glad though that it's limited for you right now to rearranging rooms and sour cream. Let's just fingers crossed it stays at that level.
Yeah, yeah, it's crazy. I used to have to tie myself to the bed, which is a whole nother story.
Oh,
Um,
that's amazing.
all right, so writing it, directing it, acting in it. I mean, y'all, this must have consumed your lives for a while.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
T-
two years.
Wow, wow. So tell me how you approached separating the awake from the sleep, because there's a distinct difference I noticed. But I want to know that thought process between how y'all came up with that, decided that.
Yeah, like I think from this. Sorry, are you hearing that echo?
Yeah.
Um, so I think from the scripting perspective, we were really like very conscious about from, without giving any spoilers away, narratively structuring what that was looking like in terms of Alex being awake versus not being awake, and then kind of like playing with the audience at times where maybe you think one's happening over the other, but it slowly gets revealed of what's really at play here. But from a story perspective, yeah, it was something that was very like thought out in advance and something that we had really planned to the point that we knew exactly what was happening at any given moment. But then I'll let Alex kind of jump in because, he had to kind of play these dual roles. He had to play the roles of the sleepwalking Alex, and the role of the waking Alex, which are very distinctly different roles.
Yeah, I think it was honestly sort of like a Jekyll and Hyde type deal, but when your Jekyll is pretty cynical to start off with, which is a fine line of that you have to really uh walk in terms of, I guess, just keeping the audience not only believing the performance, but just engaged. Because the thing that we wanted to do with Alex and Mallory's relationship was highlight that they're at the end of their, let's just call it the honeymoon. They're comfortable with each other. There is no excitement left. It is that stage where you decide like, wait, am I going to spend the rest of my life with this person? Am I going to double down, or am I going to get out now? And there are a couple where they shouldn't be together because Alex has not addressed the personal things that he's gone through. And so with that, there is this obvious tension that it exists between them, and the one we wanted to highlight a lot because it's just so common. I think it's the most common reason for divorces is money. So Alex is very frugal. Mallory's very free-spirited. Those things clash together in a very interesting way, and I think in a realistic way because it's just so relatable for so many couples. So with that side of Alex, and then also showing his likable side, like, oh, this is why she's with him in the scenes like by the fireplace or when they're driving up, he's cracking jokes, he knows how to make her laugh. Those are the things that we wanted to hit with just realism with these characters, and then so that when night hit, like, and this is something that Eli said, which we're really happy about. He's like, whenever night would come, I was like, fuck, here we go again. And that's exactly what we wanted. We wanted that like piece because some people might want to say, well, that's formulaic, but things happen during the day as well. But they could say, like, well, that's formulaic because we know it's going to come. It's like, well, if you can structure it in a way where when it comes, people are dreading it as opposed to like, oh, here we go again, then I think then you've created something interesting. And when we were putting it all together from the writing phase all the way to the editing, it was just like, yeah, we feel that this is working. We feel that this is fun, so that when night comes, you have the information from the day to brace yourself for what's coming at night. And I think in terms of the performance, it was just, yeah, okay, like now I need to be in night mode. So let's just get into like throw yourself into it as much as you can without emoting too much, like make sure it stays blank. We watched so many sleepwalking videos to just make sure that what I was doing was realistic too and not like a caricature of someone sleepwalking. So hopefully it was a fine you being a pro yourself. Hopefully I did a decent job as a sleepwalker.
I love a
Yeah,
professional.
yeah. Yeah, I've seen videos of myself sleepwalking. I've actually saw a video of me sleepwalking through a gas station once. So you nailed
Whoa.
that part of it. That very blank kind of checked out,
Yeah.
just auto mode. And that's a difficult thing to get into when you're having this other passionate, you know, difficult relationship with the other part of your character.
I want to see the found footage movie of
Yeah.
your life because that's like that gas station. That's sick.
Like,
I'm sorry if anything bad happened, but I just mean like how interesting of a visual that must have been to see that footage.
yeah, like, did you wake up back at home after the gas station, or like, how did you find that out?
I woke up the next day with a friend of mine who was a cop banging on the door and wanted to fuss at me because he was there and thought I was inebriated or I was high.
Whoa.
And then it's like, no, I have no I mean, that's what it was. And he took me to the gas station to show me the footage. So yeah,
Whoa.
yeah, it
That's
was crazy.
incredible.
Dream Eater 2 starring Kelly McNeely.
Yeah.
Right. It's freaky, but I've got medicine now. I'm good. I don't sleepwalk
Cool.
much anymore.
Oh, good.
That's good. That's good.
Glad to hear that.
But I love the movie is so real, takes such a realistic view on a lot of the parts.
Oh, good.
Talking about the sleepwalking, the relationships, it's all feels very, very realistic, like you could be in the middle of it. But when that supernatural kicks in, that's good.
Yeah.
So glad you liked it. Yeah, we were like, we're huge Lovecraft fans, and we knew that we wanted to be able to kind of weave some of that Lovecraft magic and lore into the story. And, sleepwalking and that whole sandbox just really lends itself super well to that. So when we started coming up with the script and knew that we wanted to include some of that in it, it kind of just, yeah, it just really worked. So super happy that it landed with you.
Yeah, what I think is really interesting, both as like a fan of horror and like a creator, is that, these kind of like, as you were saying, these kind of like supernatural forces are really great kind of metaphors for the things that people go through. And like, for lack of a better term, the corruption that people can experience in themselves because of these really dark experiences they've gone through that they haven't reconciled with, that they haven't looked back and made peace with. So it really twists them and it turns them into something that they never really wanted to be. And so that was a very purposeful theme that we wove into the film. So to your point, those elements, without spoiling anything, those elements for us were really about something much deeper in terms of the human condition and what these, this person and these people are going through. Because oftentimes, hurt people. And so people that are suffering, people that have these, this inner turmoil, this kind of inner darkness, often the people that suffer the most are their loved ones because they're the ones that care the most for them and want to see them do well. And they're the ones that end up taking the brunt of that person's, anger or sadness or, self-destruction, whatever it is. So yeah, no, very happy that those elements kind of worked for you because for us, we were really, it was very personal for us to weave those elements in, but then obviously give them that horror twist because that's what you're always trying to do as a horror filmmaker. You're kind of trying to show the world their reflection, people their reflection back to them, but through this skewed funhouse kind of mirror with this horror kind of twist. So yeah, that was something that we were really passionate about, and glad that it came off in terms of what you thought.
You can't see it, but I've been nodding my head yes the entire time you were talking.
Cool.
So, but yeah, it's a great film, and I love the way that the characters interact. You can see that, feel that tension that, I hate you, but I love you, and I have to take care of you, but I don't really want to, kind of thing going.
Totally.
Absolutely. Al and I have been best friends for over a decade. And so it was kind of easy just to be able to kind of get into that space with each other and just, and I think kind of to what we were talking about before. I mean, I feel like we've all been in relationships that haven't been great for us, but you stick it out longer than you want to. And I think for women especially too, sometimes you feel like you can fix things and you can fix people, and you
Yeah.
oftentimes start serving other people versus yourself. And so it was just kind of really looking at like past experiences and looking to friends and families relationships that we've all, seen over the years, and just kind of infusing all of that in there to make it like feel super real.
And like super human in that
Yeah.
way, right? Like a very grounded kind of like story about people. Because that's for us, it's always characters first. I think it was John Carpenter said like monsters are just us with hats on, right? So when you're
Yeah.
always looking at it as like a character-driven movie, a movie about people, then I think elements like that, even though you're making something that might lend a little bit closer to a supernatural in terms of the horror, like what Mallory said, you're never losing that human touch. You're never losing that kind of human condition element that I think is so relatable.
Right, right. And there's one scene, I'm not going to spoil anything. That's when Alex kind of leans over the staircase and looks down real quick. That got me. That got me. I dropped my mug of coffee, which was a mess, but that got me because the look on his face was so intense. I mean, it's just Alex. I mean, you did a great job, man. All of y'all did.
Oh,
Thank you so
Alex
much.
killed it. You're so right though, Kelly. Alex, like, I mean, Alex, I remember before we went up to the cabin was just like, I don't know if I can be creepy. I don't know if I can be scary. And every day watching him act was like, oh my God, dude, you're brilliant. Like, he's so good in that movie. So I completely understand why he made you spill your coffee because, yeah, he killed it.
Well, it was like like I knew, especially as a director, you're always prepared to, which you should never do because it's all about communication and collaboration, but you're always prepared to tell an actor exactly how you want them to say the line because you envision it in your head. And I think that's like the instinct of anyone who's just like, oh, just do it like this, but it's not about that. Obviously, it's about what are they going to bring to it, and then you both figure it out, or all four of you figure it out. In our case, when you're working as a trio, but in our advantage at this point was like, okay, well, the three directors, two of us, Jay's in the movie twice, and he never talks about it because he's just like Alex and Mallory act in it, but Jay acts in it twice, and he just doesn't want to take credit for it. But the benefit of that too is like, okay, well, we've had so many conversations, we did so many table reads, and just like so much prep was in the movie that we knew exactly how we wanted these things to sound and look and everything. But my worry was like, okay, well, I'm going to go in and I know how I want it to sound. I know how if I or like want it to look or like the look on Alex's face or whatever. So if we were directing someone, I know exactly what I'd want them to do, but I'm worried that people will just think I'm doing an imitation of what's scary, not actually being scary. Because I'm like, and also everyone that meets me goes like, "Wow, you're way shorter than I thought." And I was like, "Yeah," because that's the life that I live. So in the movie, apparently I'm like 6 feet tall, but in real life I'm 5'8". So I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to be intimidating. And they're like, yeah, trust me, you're a creepy man. I was like, oh, that's good. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the best worst compliment you can get, I guess.
Exactly. In horror, it's the best compliment. In general life, it's problematic at best.
Yes, great. And okay, I'm going to ask this. I'm not going to spoil anything. But with the ending that it had,
Mhm.
are we going to see the story continue?
I mean, yeah, we'll see. Fingers crossed, right? Like we always intended, Dream Eater to be something that no matter if we revisited it or not, it was something that would stay with audiences where now it was an open-ended enough for them that they could start to figure out, okay, what happened after the credits roll, so to speak. It's a sandbox we'd love to play in again. It was a lot of fun putting Dream Eater together and putting the lore together. We made the lore specifically. Um, a lot denser than what we ended up revealing in the film because we wanted to have all of this backstory that we could kind of inform with it so it felt like it had this depth. But also, who knows, if we ever went back to it, then we have a lot more than we can kind of reveal to the audience. So we'll see. Like, there's a lot of exciting kind of irons in the fire in terms of the next Blind Luck Pictures, film. But yeah, fingers crossed, we'll be able to play in that sandbox again. It would be a lot of fun. But yeah, you never know. We'll see what happens.
Okay, I'm going to ask y'all a question that's probably going to be a little bit difficult, but if you had to describe the film in 3 words, what would it be?
I'd throw in the word cold in there.
Yeah,
Mm,
I'd say my 3 words are you won't sleep.
Great. Oh, that's the best one. Yeah, you couldn't have picked better on that one.
yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say Jay always has a way with words. Yeah, cold, creepy,
Kind
mm,
of sexy.
yeah. Sexy to some, yeah. What about you, Al?
I would say creepy little film.
Both, all great choices. All great choices. Love it. Um, I have to ask, both as a co-director, co-writer, and actress, what was the most difficult aspect for you for filming?
For me?
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, the most difficult aspect. Honestly, I'd probably say it was the acting. I've never acted in a feature before. I've never dove into anything like this from an acting perspective. And so that was probably the hardest for me. And then because we were writing, directing, and producing everything, the lead up to the film was obviously just like so chaotic and so busy, just getting everything in order so that when we were up there, things were ready to go. And I kid you not, Kelly, I think it was like on the drive up to the cottage, I looked at Al and I was like, oh crap, I have to act tomorrow. Like I had completely forgotten about that aspect of the film leading up to. And so I'd say that was probably the most difficult aspect for me, especially just having never done it before. And especially at that size being a feature. Yeah, I'd say the acting.
You killed it though. And also,
Thank you.
to what Mallory was saying was she's really like our lead producer. All three of us produce, but she's really the one that kind of takes the helm when it comes to that responsibility. So there was so much that Mallory had to figure out. Like as soon as the camera stopped rolling, she was on putting out some producer fire. You know what I mean? And then, like she said, leading up to it. So yeah, even just like observing it from the outside looking in, like yeah, that was there was a lot of hats to wear in that capacity, definitely.
It sounds insane doing all of it. I mean, I couldn't imagine.
Yeah, it's crazy, but like it's indie filmmaking too, you know what I mean? Like we're Canadian indie to the bone and we've done everything ourselves for so long. So yes, it's super challenging and it's super hard, but I think that's why I love doing it with these two, like with these boys, like I don't know how like solo directors and solo writers do it on their own because there's just so much to consider and there's just so much work and it's just like why wouldn't you want to have like two people that you love like bounce ideas off of and have to support you? So I mean, like I could have not done it without these boys whatsoever, and I wouldn't want to do it without them.
And I think when you're indie too, like, for us, we always say there's no plan B. Like it's either making movies or bust. Like our art director who worked on the film, Jesse Graham, he has a saying where he says, he tells his parents that I'm either going to be a starving artist or I'm just going to starve. So it's like you either like got it or you don't in that kind of way when it comes to the indie side of it. And like, yeah, I think for us, it's just like this is what we were born to do, no matter what. Like people can say no as many times as they want, keep the front door locked, we'll sneak in the back, we'll find a way to tell these stories, find a way to make these movies, and yeah, because it's what we were born to do.
Oh, that's amazing. So, Alex, what was your favorite part of this whole process?
I think when honest, like this is such a boring answer, and I'm so sorry. So you can strike it from the interview entirely if you want. But I love making movies so much that there's not really a favorite part. Like it's something that you live and breathe. Like you real, especially in indie film, and like when you have to finance it yourself, and you're just like grinding to just get your movie out into the world any way that you can. It has to be driven by a passion for storytelling and really nothing else. And when you're driven by that same passion, yeah, there are stressful days, and you're like, how the hell is this gonna come together? How am I gonna live after this? But you're also like, I can't live without it. So even like from the scripting phase to the walkthroughs to the blocking days to location scouts to shooting to editing to color. Okay, you know what? I'll change my answer. When Eli bought the movie, that's my favorite moment. But everything else is all the same. So everything else is second place. But Eli reaching out on May 10th to watch the film, and then him watching it that same day, and then telling us that he's buying it in the same day. May 10th, 2025. Right? It was this year.
Yeah.
Because it feels like it was 10 years ago. May 10th, 2025 was the best experience from this whole thing. But aside from that, very close second was the making of it. And when you're making it with your two best friends, and you're all just you like your biggest problem is working with your best friends to figure out what's the coolest way to do this thing in a story that you love. And that's a really lucky place to be in. So the fact that like now we're sitting here talking to you, the movie's now out on VOD, we are friends with Eli Roth. Those are insane, just like perks uh to an already like very fruitful journey. So yeah, I'll say everything when you're doing it with these two, but Eli a little bit more. Sorry, guys.
Hey, dude, I feel you. But it's funny, we actually talk about this a lot. Like the most present you probably ever or we ever feel is on set making the movie because there's no before, there's no after, there's just that. It's your days. You got to make your days. You're not thinking about your credit card bills. You're not thinking about rent. You're not thinking about the money that you're putting into the movie. You're honestly just there on the day getting those pictures. I don't think there's a more present feeling than
Yeah.
actually being on set, capturing the movie in the moment. Yeah, it's surreal. It's a really transcendental kind of experience.
Well, that's absolutely amazing. And it's amazing that y'all have that relationship and, that ability to work together and to tolerate each other and star alongside each other. I mean, yeah, that's amazing.
It's a privilege for me. It's a tolerance for them.
Yeah. In all honesty, they tolerate the hell out of me every day. So
Yeah. We all tolerate each other. We've all got our annoying quirks, that's for sure.
That's amazing. And I hate to ask, but I kind of have to. Have y'all already found your next project?
Oh man, like we're having some really exciting conversations. I think like between the three of us, we know what we want the next project to be, but at the same time, it's like, we'll never say no to opportunities coming down the pipe, and we're just like all I will say is we definitely know whatever it's going to be in horror, and it's going to be something that's going to scare audiences. We want to go bigger and badder than we did with Dream Eater. Like we're horror fans first and foremost through and through. So at the end of the day, like whatever Blind Luck Pictures comes out with next, it'll be in that space and it'll be to terrify audiences.
Well, I guess I can speak for all horror fans when I can say that I'm glad that we have found y'all.
Oh,
And
thank
then,
you.
we will have future projects and this projects and more to watch. Because that's, it, I don't know how to explain it, but you can feel the passion in the movie. Does that make sense?
Oh,
Very much.
completely. And
Thank
then
you, Kelly.
that means so much, because probably for us, the most humbling, profound feeling is being able to contribute to a genre, horror, that contributed so heavily to us as we came up as first off fans and then filmmakers ourselves. So hearing that from you, a diehard horror fan, like that means the world because there are no better fans in the world. And I know that this seems like a very kind of like, you know what I mean? Like arrogant thing to say as we're all horror fans. But I don't think there are any better fans than horror fans. We're the most passionate, we're the most inclusive, and I just think like, we're the genre of misfits, right? We're like, so it's like I think that's where some of the most interesting, unique, kind of weird filmmaking comes from, and really pushes the boundaries in those ways. And so like we're just so honored to have been able to put our stamp on the genre, make an entry, keep doing it, because for us it's just like yeah, it's surreal to be here now at this point, and we just can't wait to keep the journey going.
Well, that's fantastic. And you're definitely right, horror fans. You don't get any more loyal or open-minded or friendly than horror fans. And we could be staring at a screen drenched with blood and body parts, and the next second smiling, offering to open a door for somebody. It's just one of those things.
Literally.
100%.
1,000%, yeah.
Could not agree more.
Definitely. Okay. One more thing I have to ask, since y'all actually kind of technically brought it up, I need to know what your favorite horror movies are.
Yes.
I would say, oh my gosh, there's so many. Like, there's obviously the classics like The Exorcist for me. The Thing
Yes.
is up there.
Yes.
I love Paranormal Activity 3. That is like, I love that film so much. The Descent, Wreck. Oh my
Yeah,
God,
like
yeah.
you're really just rifling them all off, like Dead and
Stealing
Fair.
them all.
Yeah, like honestly, it's so hard when you go like, because we always say like as filmmakers and fans, it's like our favorite horror film is our top 10 favorite horror films. But yeah, like I think Mallory really hit the nail on the head there. Rosemary's Baby, The Omen, like, and it's great because a lot of these movies are also very heavily referenced within Dream Eater as well. But yeah, Alex, jump in, man.
Black Christmas is my number one, just like shaped me as a horror fan. I think it's like one of the greatest films ever made, and it's just endlessly entertaining. And there's something new that you grab from that movie every time you watch it. Alien is one of the best. The Ring, Gore Verbinski's The Ring is just like one of the greatest films ever made. Misery,
Yeah.
I think, is not talked about enough in the horror space. That's just one of the best friggin' movies. And Paranormal Activity, the OG, like that's just such a great movie. It's a game changer. Same with Blair Witch, obviously. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think in the horror space, you can just go on and on. Oh, Poltergeist too. There, I'll stop.
Yeah.
And like
Well,
genuinely, it's like John Carpenter, like it's hard to pick a single
Yeah.
movie out of his catalog. Like, you said The Thing, you've got like Prince of Darkness, In the Mouth of Madness, Christine, just like all these incredible films,
Don't forget Vampires.
oh my, I will never forget
Yes.
Vampires, Ghosts of Mars.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, like, Assault on Precinct 13, like, They Live, like it's just there's so many films that I think also for us that's like Frank Armitage we reference in Dream Eater with the character of Dr. Armitage. Not only is that a nod to the Dunwich Horror from Lovecraft, but that's also to Frank Armitage, the pseudonym of John Carpenter when he wrote They Live. So yeah, it's just there's so many, right? Like it's just like this is a genre so rich with incredible films and incredible filmmakers. And yeah, all the way from old to new. Like it's just like Ari Aster and like It Follows and just like yeah, so many cool movies, so many cool filmmakers. Yeah.
yeah. At least I'm glad y'all have such good taste. I really am.
Thank you.
But yeah, you're right. And like I said, horror opens so many doors to so many people for so many emotions and thoughts and creativity. It really is just amazing. And I'm so glad that we can now count Dream Eater in on that bunch.
Thank you.
then I
That's-
will definitely be keeping an eye out for the next movie, whether it's a sequel or not.
Oh,
So,
hell yeah.
and mhm.
No, sorry, keep going.
I was just gonna say that, I'm really glad that, we get so many great voices in horror, like yours.
Oh, thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
And like again, we're just so honored that we even get to be a part of it in the first place. It was always a lifelong dream of all of us to make a horror film and tell a story, create a story that not only scares people but helps them out. Because to your point, I think
Right.
about how horror movies can really illuminate a lot of these really hard, messed up things that people have to go through on a daily basis. It can really provide a catharsis and like a calm. Like, we always talk about like when you're going through some rough stuff in life and things just seem like they couldn't be bleaker, like there is no light at the end of the tunnel. We all have those moments. It's like you throw on like a horror film and all of a sudden you're like, shit, there's a way out. You know what I mean? It's like just keep
Yeah.
moving forward, fight the darkness as best you can for as long as you can. But I think to your point, I think horror is able to do that a lot more effectively than most genres because it really puts you in the driver's seat of a lot of these situations, and now it gives you kind of like a paradigm to reflect back on and be like, okay, cool, they made it through, I can make it through. They push through the horror, I can push through the horror, and it becomes a catharsis. It becomes a way through, right?
Right, definitely. Well, I thank y'all so very much for taking the time to talk with me. It's been a pleasure.
Did
Oh,
it.
And I
pleasure's
can't
all
wait.
ours.
For real.
Thank you. I can't wait till everybody can talk about it without spoilers and get opinions on it.
No,
But I
totally.
appreciate it. And, like I said, it was my pleasure.
Thank you,
Awesome.
Kelly.
Thank you so much, Kelly. Really appreciate you.
Yeah, we appreciate you.
Thank